Hi there, welcome. Just dropping something in the chat to make sure that's working. Let me know that you can see me and hear me properly. And thanks for joining in today. I know it's the week of Christmas for many of us, which is a really busy and chaotic time. So, actually, for that reason, I really wanted to do something pretty mellow and introspective today, where we're going to be moving the body, obviously, enough to feel like we got some movement in, but not so much that it's depleting or draining in any way. So, it'll really be an opportunity to just kind of drop in and get familiar with how you're feeling in the inner spaces. So we'll go ahead and get started. Give me just one moment. I'm going to head on over to my mat and I'll meet you there in just a moment. Hi, friends. I'm Yani Tarma, and this is Yoga Medicine Online. Thank you so much for joining me here today. I'm really excited to share practice with you. So, this is going to be kind of an exploratory movement practice set within the structure of a traditional Hatha Vinyasa flow. So, this is going to be a nice practice for you anytime that you want to move kind of slowly and really have lots of space and time in which to feel things out and really tune into how you're feeling in your body and use that to kind of let those external distractions fall away into the background. So, one of the things that we're going to be doing is introducing some novelty into our movement. So, we're going to be doing some variations on familiar poses as well as some new transitions. And I have always found that to be such a great way to engage and stimulate both the physical body and the mind because anytime that we're doing something new, we're forcing the physical body, the musculoskeletal system to coordinate around the demands of that new movement. And similarly, it keeps us really mentally engaged as well because we really need to be focused and have our full attention on this thing that we're doing as we're learning to get more competent at it. So, for as always, I really encourage you to approach this with kind of an exploratory mindset where you're just feeling things out and seeing how it goes. And for practice today, all you really need is a pair of yoga blocks, and then you might like to have a blanket for later, but that's optional. We're actually going to begin with a little bit of seated mindfulness and breathing so that we can really get into that introspective headspace and have that lens to experience and view the practice through it for the rest of our time together. So I encourage you to just find a comfortable seat. I'm going to be sitting on one of my blocks. You might be kneeling, kind of like I am here, or you might be cross legged. Maybe you're sitting on another block or your blanket. Just take a time to find something that feels relatively easy to settle into. And we're going to be playing around with inhaling and exhaling out of the nose, but while partially closing either one of our nostrils. So I'll talk you through this and then we'll go through it together. But if you take your thumb and your index finger and you find the bony bridge of your nose and then go right to the bottom of that bony structure, you're just going to feel the soft flesh of your nose and your two nostrils there. So think about your two nostrils as like a pair of circles or a pair of valves, which can either be completely open like they are right now, or if you press into one of them lightly, it's going to be partially closed, and if you press into it completely, you can close it completely. So we'll be kind of exploring the sensation of inhaling and exhaling through the nostrils while partially or completely closing them. Follow me. You can just relax your hands down into your lap to begin with. And then just settle into your seat. Let the shoulders soften. And go ahead and take an inhale through both nostrils. And then exhale out through both nostrils again. Good. Now take the fingers to the bottom of that bony bridge of the nose. Let's take another inhale through both open nostrils. And then completely close the right, partially close the left, and exhale. Good. Release, open both. Take an inhale. Completely close the left and partially close the right. Exhale. Good. Release. Inhale through both. Close the right, partially close the left, and breathe out. Release. Nice big inhale. Close the left, partially close the right, and breathe out. Good. Just following along. Open both. Inhale. Close the right, partially close the left. Open and inhale. Close the left, partially close the right. And just keep going at your own pace there. Switching which one is closed and partially closing the other one. So as you're exhaling through that partially closed nostril, there's a little bit of a sense of resistance, like you're ever so slightly having to make the exhale a bit more active to push the air out. And just allowing yourself to drop into a groove with it, both the physical sensation of it as well as the feel of it. And the next time that you exhale out of the right nostril, pause at the bottom of the exhale, release the hand back down into your lap, and just take an inhale through both nostrils there. And let the full beam of your attention just linger on the sensation of the breath, making its way in through the nostrils down into the rib cage and the belly, and then finding its way back out the way it came in. Just allowing the awareness to spread from the nose and the face out and down into the rest of the body. Even noticing the lower body, the points of contact with the floor. Taking in the full picture, allowing any sensations to just percolate or trickle up to the surface there. And let's see if we can keep the awareness partly on this inner space, the internal conditions in the body. You're welcome to keep the eyes closed. We're just going to start with a little gentle spinal roll here. So from your seated position, go ahead and just take an easy side bend over to the right, and then rolling through the center, rounding the spine, tucking the chin into the chest, eventually rolling right into a side bend to the left. And then just bending back a little bit from there. So arching the spine, eventually winding up over to the right again. Before letting yourself round over to the left, and then bending back a little bit. So see if you can just stay with the awareness of the spine, the whole structure of it moving here together as a unit. You might even think about the movement here as originating right from the center of the spine, the middle of it, and The section above it, all the way up to the head, and then a section below it, all the way down to the tailbone, as just kind of moving as a byproduct of that movement that's coming right from the center of the spine. So, can you just allow the low back and the pelvis to move here, just kind of on their own? Same with the rib cage and the neck and the head. And then maybe just switch the direction of the roll here. Is it possible to make this fairly fluid and smooth? And then has the quality of the breath somehow changed or altered here? We don't need to control that. We're just going to notice. How are the arms responding? Are they just hanging from the shoulders and relatively passive, or are they getting involved in some way as well? Maybe you feel the points of contact between the first surface that you're sitting on and your pelvis shifting as well. Good. Go ahead and just take one or two more circles of the spine, whichever direction you're going in. And then you're just going to find your way back to the center, or rather, feel your way back to something that feels like a neutral to you. So, just feeling the elongation, the effortless stacking of the spine here, that easy lift up and out of the top of the head, and the belly and the shoulders, even the neck and the jaw, just kind of softening around the column of the spine. Take another breath in, feel the entire structure expand and fill up, and feel it retract and empty out as you exhale. Let's do one more inhale and an exhale. Beautiful. And then gently open the eyes, but see if you can keep just a portion of your attention again on the internal conditions in the body. Let's stay tuned into that. If you're sitting on something, you're going to remove that and just find your way to hands and knees here. Shift around to find a comfortable neutral tabletop and spread the fingers into the mat. Think about pressing down, not just through the pads of the fingers, but the knuckles themselves, maybe doming the palm lightly away from the floor and just finding a little bit of a lift from the base of the wrist through the underside of the arm and into the armpit. So keep that there as you tuck the toes under and take the hips up into downward facing dog. Use that transition to shift your attention to the backs of the legs there. Maybe pedal the feet out. Notice the sensations there. And then maybe bend the knees really generously here and let the chest drop down. Notice if there's any sensation or a difference in the distribution of the tension through the back of the body as you bend the knees there. Maybe shake out the head, shift or wiggle in any way that feels nice or productive or interesting here. And then use your next inhale. Let's pick up the right leg, sweep that up and back behind you. With the exhale, step it forward between the hands. And then right away, grab your two blocks here. Just place them under the hands on either side of that right foot. And then start to circle the right knee over the ankle. So you're just allowing the knee to circle over the ankle, the foot to shift on the floor. So the contact of it is changing with the floor. And then noticing how all of that movement is transferring up into the hip and even the whole pelvis here, maybe switching directions. Just noticing the connections there between all these different parts that are moving, even though we're cueing this as a movement of the knee. Maybe shift the hips back and straighten that right leg a little bit. And again, notice the differences in tension, the location of the tension as you do that in the back of the leg. Good. And then keep the blocks under the hands. You're just going to step the left foot through, standing forward fold, and move the blocks forward a little bit so they're just comfortably under the shoulders here. Now, as you fold forward, Let the head drop, and then think about drilling your heels down into the floor. So you're going to feel a little bit of that productive tension through the backs of the legs. Now listen carefully. You're going to keep the heels just driving down into the floor as you slowly lengthen your chest forward into a halfway lift, and at the same time, just inch your blocks forward a little ways out in front of you. So you're lengthening forward and reaching through the arms. And now notice the distribution of the tension between the heels all the way up the backs of the legs, either side of the spine and into the base of the skull. Good. So let's take a breath in. With the exhale, go ahead and release and soften. You can remove your hands from the blocks and just find a forward fold there. Let's inhale to come all the way up to stand. Again, press down through the heels to reach up. With the exhale, let's fold it forward. Move the blocks out of the way, step it on back, downward facing dog. Take a full cycle of inhale and exhale here. Notice any differences between the right leg and the left leg. And then inhale, take your left leg up and back. Exhale, step it through. Let's keep the back knee lifted. You're grabbing your blocks again. And then just starting with that circling of the left knee over the ankle. And letting the foot move and shift on the mat, however, feels natural to happen almost as a byproduct of that movement. Then let your attention wander up the left leg into the left hip, the whole pelvis, maybe even the spine and the shoulders are shifting here. Maybe take the hips back and straighten the front leg before rebending again. So just really letting your attention kind of linger in the details here, becoming almost like immersed in them. Good. And then finding that step through into the forward fold, adjusting the blocks however feels good to you here. And as you fold forward, maybe close the eyes and tune into that feeling of the heels just driving down into the floor. And notice how the backs of the legs become active even here. So let's keep that as we carefully start to lengthen the chest forward. And as you do that, you're just walking your blocks forward. So find that little reach of the arms and now connect mentally all the way from the heels up into the base of the skull. So feel the continuous line of tension there. Let's take a breath in. And with the exhale, you can release and fold. Feel free to leave the blocks at the top of your mat here. And then using the next inhale, let's come all the way up. Feel that whole back line connect as you bend back here. And then with the exhale, let's fold it forward. Good. Take a breath in, lift halfway, just nice and easy. Exhale to release down, and then stepping back, downward facing dog. Find a breath in and a breath out. Inhale, pick up the right leg. Exhale, step it forward, and then this time drop the back knee, come on up to stand on your left knee. Now, make a pair of cactus shapes with your arms, and you're just going to drop the fingertips towards the floor, and then bring the backs of your wrists loosely to meet out in front of you. Now, let's see if we can move from the wrists here as you take the wrists up towards the ceiling, out to the sides. Feel free to let the chest open, and then rotating the arms so you can return back to that starting position. Let's go through that a few times. And again, think about the movement coming from the wrist, the circling action, but you're just going to allow the body to move as a byproduct in any way that feels good. So maybe there's a pretty noticeable rounding and arching of the spine. Maybe there's some movement happening in the hips and the lower body, or in the shoulder blades or the neck. Good. Take one more circle here, this big sweep of the arms. Let's end with the arms wide. You're just going to have the palms facing up here. Right away, soften the shoulders, and then keep the left arm rotated as is. You're just going to reach that up, bend the elbow, and drop the hand behind the back of the neck or the head. Rotate your right thumb down towards the floor. You're going to sweep that up as though the hands were going to meet behind you, but they don't have to meet. All right, so let's keep this shape. You're just going to lean over to the right. And then come on up through center. Let's switch the arms as we lean to the left. Keep it going at your own pace. Just switching side to side, letting the breath move however feels good here. Perfect. And the next time that you're leaning over to the right, go ahead and pause there. Keep the side bend as well. Shift your weight forward, tuck the back toes under, pick up the back knee, spin the back heel down, rotate your chest towards the long edge of your mat, and then reach your left arm, the top arm towards the front of your mat. Reach your back hand, the right hand towards the back of your mat. Lengthen out in both directions here. Good. Let's take an inhale. We're going to reverse. With the exhale, cartwheel the hands down, step through top of the mat. Now, if you want, grab the blocks under your hands here, or maybe you just have the fingertips on the floor as you drive down through the heels, feel the backs of the legs connect, and then keep that as you just slightly inhale to lengthen the chest forward, maybe walk the fingertips forward too, and then exhale to release down. Good. Let's inhale to come all the way up. Reach the arms up. With the exhale, we're folding forward. Now go ahead and step back to plank pose here. Take a breath in. As you exhale, make your way down onto your belly, however feels good. Now we're going to do a cobra modification. Take your hands a little bit out in front of you, slightly wider than your mat. You're going to be up on your fingertips here. Make sure the toes are untucked, and you're going to tuck your chin in, lightly press the legs down into the floor. Now, before you go anywhere, think about actually dragging the hands back towards your shoulders. You're going to feel the front body engage as well. Let's see if we can keep the legs pressing down, the hands dragging back, and the chin tucked as we inhale to lift into cobra. So it's not going to be very high, and you're going to feel a little bit of that resistance through the front of the body, which is perfect. Exhale. Soften back down. Let's do that one more time. Legs press down, hands drag back, chin is tucked. You're inhaling to lift, but maintaining that little bit of tension through the front of the body. Good. And then exhaling to soften and release down. Bring your hands underneath your shoulders. Press up to tabletop position. Take a couple of rounds of cat-cow. So feel the movement of the spine. Maybe match with the breath in a really familiar way here. So just establishing a kind of baseline. And then find a neutral spine. We're going to change it up a little bit. Pick up your right knee and move it forward and in. So it's underneath your navel. Do the same with your left hand. So you're just going to move that underneath your navel and make a fist with your left hand so the knuckles are down on the floor. So you're kind of in this awkward staggered tabletop now. What does it feel like here to inhale, arch the spine and drop the belly, and then exhale to round. Inhale, arch. Exhale, round. Listen carefully. Inhale, arch. Pause there. Reach your right leg back, your left arm forward. Exhale, round. Bring the knee and the fist to meet underneath you, right below the navel. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, tap the knee and the fist. Good. Let's do one more. Inhale and exhale. Good. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, set the hand down, set the knee down. Spread the fingers into the mat, tuck the toes, take the hips up, downward facing dog. Reconnecting with the breath. Just getting that full three-dimensional awareness of the body, both inside and out. And then inhale, left leg comes up and back. Exhale, step it on through. We're dropping the back knee to the floor and then coming up to stand onto the right knee here. Good. So right away, let's find the cactus arms, drop the fingertips towards the floor, and then loosely bring the backs of the wrists to meet out in front of you. Leading with the wrists, you're just going to take the arms up, take them out to the sides and back, down, and then out in front of you to meet again. Allow the rest of the body to start to move here as well. So there's really not a right or wrong way to do this. You're just doing one thing, the circling of the wrists and the arms, and then letting other things follow as a result. Let the breath be part of that too. So maybe that's moving in a way that isn't perfectly matched with the movement, which is fine. Let's finish out. One more circle of the arms and the wrists. We're going to end with the arms wide. Let the elbows be soft. And then right away, soften the shoulders down here as well. Keep the right arm as is. You're just going to take that up, bend the elbow, drop the hand behind you, and then rotate your left thumb down. You're going to sweep that up the back. Maybe the fingertips or the hands come to meet. Not a big deal either way. And then side bending over to the left. Good. Come on up through center. Maybe inhale there. Switch the arms. Maybe exhale to head over to the right. And then just continue flowing side to side like this. How smooth or fluid can that switching of the arms be? Is it harder to balance leaning one way than the other? And the next time that you're leaning over to the left, let's pause there. Keep the side bend even as you lean forward. Tuck the back toes under. Pick up the right heel, the right knee behind you, and then spin the right heel down to the floor as you rotate your chest and your hips over towards the long edge of your mat. Top arm reaches forward. The bottom hand is going to reach back. Lengthen in both directions, even as you drive down through the outer edge of that right heel into the floor. Let's inhale to reverse. Let's exhale to cartwheel the hands down. Frame the left foot. Step through standing forward bend. Same option to use the blocks under the hands here. We're going to drive down through the heels. Feel the backs of the legs engage, and then see if you can let that engagement travel up through the upper body, the back of the upper body, as you inhale to lift halfway, and then just inch the hands forward on the mat out in front of you, and then exhale to release down. Maybe soften the knees a little bit there. Let's inhale to come all the way up. Take the arms up. Exhale to dive it back down. Good. Inhale, easy halfway lift. Exhale, release down. Let's step back to plank pose. Take a breath in. With your exhale, slow and steady, lots of control. We're going to lower all the way down. Untuck the toes, reach the hands out in front of you, a little bit wider than your mat, and you're kind of tenting the hands here, coming up onto the fingertips and winging the elbows back. So same thing, a little pressing down through the legs, connect that into a little scoop in the pit of the belly, tuck your chin towards your chest, and then try to drag your hands back towards your shoulders. You should feel like there's some tension through the whole front of the body, and you're not going to lose that even as you inhale to lift into cobra. And exhale to soften down. Let's go one more time. Press down through the legs, scoop the belly, chin tucked, hands dragging back towards the shoulders. We've got an inhale to lift and an exhale to release down. Bring the hands underneath the shoulders. Come on up through tabletop position. And then just really briefly, a couple of rounds of cat-cow. So just reestablishing that baseline of familiarity with this movement here, finding the neutral spine in the middle, and then finding our staggered stance. Left knee comes forward and in. Make a fist with your right hand. Bring that underneath the navel to meet with the left knee as well. Now inhaling, arch the spine, drop the belly. Exhaling, round. Good. Take a couple more. Just feeling your way out and just noticing what it is specifically about this that feels different. Is it balance, or is there something else that, like a new element that comes into it? Good. And the next time that you're in the arched position, pause there, press down through the left hand and the right knee, and then extend the limbs out in front of you. Right arm, left leg. And then exhaling, knee and fist just tap. Maybe they're hovering off the floor underneath you. Good. Take a couple more. Just really leaning into the sensation, even if it's one of slight awkwardness or weirdness. Good. And then just finding one more cycle here. Ending in the extended position on the inhale, and then using the exhale to set the hand and the knee down. Take it up, downward facing dog. Find a breath in, find a breath out. And then bend your knees, come on down to a seat. You might be sitting on your heels or maybe on your blanket if you prefer a cross-legged seat. Just find something that feels comfortable. We're going to do a little bit of myofascial release and carry that through into our next standing sequence. So think about making a lobster claw with your left hand, make a cactus arm with your right hand, and you're going to grab a hold of your entire right shoulder blade with this lobster claw. So that left thumb is going to end really firmly wedged all the way into the back corner of your armpit here. You're going to clamp with your lobster claw and then keep the pressure there as you internally rotate the arm. You might feel a little muscle jump into the thumb here. And then that same muscle softens as you take the arm back up. So let's do that just a couple more times. So here we're working on the subscapularis, which is a little muscle of the rotator cuff, and one that we don't really pay a lot of conscious attention to. So there can be some surprising sensations here. Just going to be gentle with yourself. Good. Take just one more. And then release your lobster claw, release that right arm. Right away, take your left fingertips to your upper trapezius, which is this meaty chunk at the top of your shoulder. Feel around for maybe a tender spot or just somewhere that it feels good to apply a little bit of pressure to. You're going to keep the pressure. Let's take an inhale. With the exhale, still pressing down. Take your head away to the left. Good. Release the pressure. Inhale, come up. Press down. Exhale. Take the head away from your hand. Good. Let's just do a couple more. So just pressing down as you side bend the neck in the opposite direction. Just a really brief little release, creating some circulation and some awareness here. You've got just one more. And then bring the head back to center. Release the arms. Either just let them hang down by your sides or let them rest into the lap and close your eyes. Notice how the right shoulder feels versus the left. Maybe compare with a little shoulder roll. Good. And then just let the arms hang one more time. Take an inhale as you slightly hike the shoulders up. On the exhale, really intentionally let the shoulders soften and settle on top of the rib cage. Perfect. Open the eyes. Let's do the second side. Left arm is going to be your cactus arm. You're going to make a lobster claw with this right hand. And again, think about catching a hold of your entire left shoulder blade so the thumb really drives into that back corner of the armpit. And you're going to keep the clamping action, but just feel it out in terms of the intensity here and adjust as needed as you take the arm into internal rotation. How do things feel under that right thumb? And then coming back up. Good. So take a few more, knowing that it's okay to both not really feel that much or to feel a lot and adjust how much pressure you're applying. So we want this to feel good as well, or at least productive. Good. Take just one more. And then release the arm. Right away, right fingers are going to come to that meaty trapezius muscle here on top of the shoulder. Feel around, explore, find some place that feels nice to press into, and then take an inhale. Again, with the exhale, keep the pressure as you take the head over to the right. Good. Release the fingers, bring the head back up. Inhale. Press down, exhale, take the head away. Take a couple more and feel free to explore the shape of the muscle, where you're pressing into it, how much you're pressing into it. Noting too that depending on which is your dominant arm, things might feel pretty significantly different from one side to the next. Good, just one more there. And then releasing the arms, again, just letting them hang or letting the hands come into the lap. Take a moment to just pause and notice. Maybe roll both shoulders out. And then allow the arms to just be heavy and passive one more time. And as you inhale, slightly hike the shoulders up towards the ears. On the exhale, can you just intentionally and fully let the shoulders soften back down? And notice how things feel there. Maybe not just in the shoulder, but maybe even the upper back or the chest or the neck. So the effects might be also felt somewhere else. Beautiful. And then open the eyes. Now, with this kind of freedom and this looseness and this awareness that we have in the shoulders now, let's see if we can keep that as a sort of thread through our next movement sequence. Now, coming down to hands and knees. And then once again, just really activating the arms here. Fingers are spread, a little bend in the elbows, doming the palms and lifting up through the undersides of the arms all the way into the armpit as you take the hips up. So is it possible here to balance out the engagement and the active support, but with a sense of ease as well? And use your inhale, take the right leg up and back. Exhale, step it on through. Now, this time, let's keep the back knee lifted, and you're going to come straight up to crescent lunge. Take the arms up overhead, and then right away, take the arms wide, keep the palms facing up. Maybe roll the shoulders and let them soften. So just recapture that sensation of the shoulders being soft here. Take your left arm up overhead, bend the elbow, drop the hand behind the back of the neck. Right thumb rotates down. You're sweeping that up the back. Side bend over to the right. Come up through center, switch the arms, side bend to the left. Does this feel different from when we had the back knee down? Take a few more passes here. Perfect. And the next time that you're leaning over to the right, let's pause there. All right, keep the side bend, spin the back heel down, rotate your chest over towards the long edge of your mat there, top arm reaches forward, bottom hand reaches back, lengthen in both directions. Now keep the right arm as is. You're gonna sweep your left arm down by your side, and then see if you can bend your elbows and just loosely grab a hold of the forearms of the elbows behind your back. Use that to roll the shoulder heads back and find a bit more space across the collarbones. Keep that as you mostly straighten your front legs. So you're getting like a triangle shape with the legs here. Keep the chest super open as you rotate your shoulders to square with the front of your mat. Flip the back heel up behind you. Can you keep the shoulders back and the chest really spacious as you hop into an easy warrior three there? And keep the chest really nice and broad as you sweep your left leg through. Hook the ankle over the right thigh for standing pigeon. And keep the work in the legs there as you unhook that left ankle and just set the foot down to come to chair pose. Now, again, let's inhale to take the arms up overhead. With the exhale, palms up, reach the arms wide, soften the shoulders. Take a breath in and a breath out. Fold it forward, let the arms just hang. Now drive down through your heels, feel the backs of the legs turn on. Listen closely. Can you keep that as you slowly inhale to lengthen your chest forward and over towards the top right corner of your mat? Walk your hands in that direction too. What's the distribution of tension here with this diagonal reach to the right? Take another breath in and exhale, release down. Let's do the same thing over to the left. Drive down through the heels. Inhale to lift halfway and then walk your hands over towards the top left corner. One breath in and a breath out to return back to center and fold. Inhale, come all the way up, take the arms up. On the exhale, right away, let's fold it forward. Now listen closely. Grab one of your blocks, step your right foot back behind you. So just find a high lunge here. Your right hand is going to be on the block. Have that slightly out in front of your left foot. Reach your left arm up towards the ceiling, find a twist, and then reach your left arm overhead towards the front of the mat. Re-square the shoulders towards the short edge of your mat here. Keep reaching through the left arm. Hop off of the back foot. You've got a modified warrior three with the fingertips still maybe on the block here. We're going to take an inhale. On the exhale, you're going to bring your left elbow and your right knee to meet underneath you as you round your spine. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, round and tuck. Take a couple more at your own pace. If you want, experiment with hovering the right hand off of the block. So we've got this slightly more challenging version of the bird dog variation we were doing earlier. You've got one more. And in the lengthened position, step the right foot down. You can move the block out of the way, release the hands to the floor, step back to plank. Take a breath in. Exhale, lower down, untuck the toes, hands out in front, a little bit wider than the mat, tenting through the palms here. Press down through the legs, tuck your chin, drag the hands back towards your shoulders, feel the front body kind of tension. And let's keep that as we inhale to lift. Now this time, pause here, and then check this out. You're gonna untuck the chin, look forward, and then press the hands forward, float the legs, feel the back body turn on. Good, take a breath in, exhale, relax. Let's do that one more time. Press the legs down, scoop the belly in, tuck the chin, drag the hands back towards your shoulders. Keep that tension as you inhale to lift into cobra. And then look forward, press the hands forward, lift the legs, feel all the work shift to the back of the body. Take a breath in and exhale, release down, hands underneath the shoulders. Come on up, tabletop, tuck the toes, hips up, downward facing dog. Is it possible to reconnect with that softness in the shoulders here, or at least to move a little bit back on the scale between effort and ease here? Just recapturing a little bit of that sense of ease here. Inhaling, left leg comes up and back. Exhale, step it through. Press down through the left foot, rise up into your crescent lunge. Let's take the arms overhead and then right away take them wide. Let the arms be soft, palms facing up, maybe even roll the shoulders down and back a little bit. Right arm comes up, bend the elbow, drop the hand, rotate your left thumb down, sweep that up the back. Good. Side bend to the left. Inhale, come up, fluidly switch the arms, side bend to the right. Feel your way through this a couple more times. Where are the challenges? Are there ways to maybe make it feel a little bit more fluid somehow? Let's go ahead and end with the side bend over to the left. And then keeping the side bend, you're going to spin the back heel down. We're coming into a modified side angle here. Top arm reaches forward, bottom hand reaches back towards your right heel. Good. And then keep the left arm, sweep the right arm down by your sides, bend the elbows, catch a hold of the forearms of the elbows behind you. Roll the shoulder heads back, get that space for the chest as you straighten your front leg most of the way. Keep the space in the chest, flip the back heel up, square your shoulders to the front of your mat. And just an easy little transition to float up into warrior three, keeping that space in the reach between the collarbones. One breath in and a breath out. Let's bring the right leg through. Hook the ankle over the thigh, standing pigeon. Perfect. And then keep the standing leg bent. You're just going to release that right foot down to the floor for chair pose. Let's right away inhale to take the arms up. And then exhale, just sink into your chair as you take the arms wide, palms up, letting the shoulders, maybe even the whole upper body be soft here. Good. Take another breath in. With the exhale, you're folding forward. Drive the heels into the floor. In fact, think about driving your entire shin bone into the floor. And then keep that as you inhale to peel the chest up, walk the hands over towards the top right corner of your mat. Pause there and just feel things out. And exhale, release and fold to center. Drive the shin bones down into the floor. Inhale, lift halfway up and over to the left. Walk the hands over there too. And exhale, fold back to center. Good. Go ahead and grab your hold of your block. Let's step the left foot back. And you're just going to have your left hand on the block. It's going to be a little bit out in front of your right foot there. Take your right arm up, find the twist, and then reach the right arm forward and overhead. Re-square the shoulders towards the short top of your mat there. Float the back leg. Adjust your block if you need to. Keep the support of the hand on the block there. Take an inhale. With your exhale, elbow to knee underneath you, round the spine. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, round. Take a couple more at your own pace here. If at some point it feels nice to experiment with hovering the left hand off of the block, go ahead. You've got one more. Let's end with the arm and the leg extended before stepping back. Move the block out of the way, hands down, plank pose. Take a breath in. With the exhale, lower down. Modified cobra. Untuck the toes, hands out in front of you, tenting the palms up. Press the legs down, tuck the chin, drag the hands back. Inhale to come up and pause there. Untuck the chin, look forward, press the hands forward, float the legs, feel the back body turn on. Good, and then just releasing down on an exhale, take a full cycle of breath here. Let's do one more. Press the legs, tuck the chin, drag the hands back. Keep the tension through the front as you inhale to lift into your cobra. Look forward, drag the hands forward, lift the legs. Feel the back body turn on. Good. And then releasing down. Place the hands underneath the shoulders, tuck the toes, press on up, hands and knees. Take the hips up, downward facing dog. Take a moment here just to recalibrate before bending the knees and coming up into a seat. So maybe just sitting on the heels here again. Letting the hands rest on the lap. Just finding a alternative seated position if that feels better for you. Close your eyes. And let yourself tune into the internal conditions here. Maybe starting with an awareness of the skin, the sensations there. And then letting your attention wander further inward from there. Good. Take another cycle of breath. And then open the eyes. Good. And we're going to do a little experiment here. So I think this is easiest from this kneeling position, but you could do another shape as well if you wanted to, or if that's more comfortable for you. We're going to take an inhale to bring the arms up. And then with the exhale, we're just going to take an easy side bend over to the right. So let yourself have that full support of that right arm underneath you so you can feel the left side body kind of open here. And then pressing into the right hand to come up through the center with the inhale. And then heading to the left on the exhale, same thing. Good. Now inhale, come on up through center. Exhale, let's head over to the right again. Settle into the shape, into the side bend here. And then imagine what would happen, or just get a feel for what would happen if you were to lift your right hand away from the floor. So, what would happen if you lifted your right hand away from the floor? Would you topple over to the right? If the answer to that is yes, then come up onto your right fingertips and maybe come out of the side bend a little bit until you can, in fact, hover the right hand without the support there. And then take your right hand to the left side of your waist. Feel the muscles there. See if you can use that to bring yourself upright again. So it's a slightly more active exit there. Let's go over to the left and experiment with the same thing here. So again, just lean into the support of the left hand completely. And then get a feel for what would happen if you were to lift the left hand away from the floor. Good. So then let's make it so we can actively hold this position. Come up onto your left fingertips, maybe come out of the side bend slightly, and find the spots where you can actually maintain the shape without the support of the left hand as you lift it away from the floor. And then can you use the muscles on the right side of the waist to bring yourself up? Let's go one more time each side. Over to the right. Come up just enough so that you can hover the right hand. Feel the work in the left side waist involved to bring yourself up. Head over to the left. Good. And then come up just enough so you can hover the hand. Inhale, come on up. Exhale, release the hands down in front of the chest. Take a breath in and a breath out. Now go ahead and find a cross-legged seat here. Maybe that means sitting on a blanket or a block. Reconnect with that sense of length and space through the side body. And then super simple, let's just see if we can keep that as we inhale to find some length through the whole torso. And then keeping the length on the exhale, twisting over to the right. So we don't need to wrench or go really far into the twist here. The priority is going to be just keeping that sense of ease and spaciousness through the side of the waist and letting that translate into a similar feeling of ease through the rib cage, the shoulders, maybe the neck and the jaw as well. And starting to let the legs settle too, feeling the support from that base of the pelvis. Feel free to keep the eyes closed as you transition through the middle and just give yourself a round of breath here, almost as a reset or a recalibration, an opportunity to shift the attention inward once again before heading over into the twist on the left, again, with the intent that you're maintaining that feeling of space and length through the sides of the waist. And a sense of softness there too, so that the whole waistline can expand and contract with the breath, in addition to the movement in the rib cage, the opening and closing of the ribs. And then resetting back, coming to center, and taking an easy round of breath there. Good. Open your eyes. Find your way down onto your back. We've got one more pose here before heading into Shavasana. So feel free to bring anything that you know you'd like to have with you for Shavasana. Maybe it's the blanket for your head or the blocks for the backs of the knees. But for right now, you're going to lie down, have the feet a little bit wider with the legs extended. And you're just going to cross your right ankle over your left ankle. So both legs are straight with the ankles crossed. And then shimmy the shoulders a little bit over to the left too. So you're kind of finding this global side bending shape with the left side shortening and the right side lengthening. And you can reach your right arm up overhead in line with that sort of crescent shape here. One option that might feel kind of nice is to bend your right elbow and tuck the right forearm under the back of the head. So if that feels comfortable, that's a nice way to make this be really mellow and effortless for the right arm as well. Just having it be lightly pinned in place by the weight of the head. The main thing is simply to be able to relax into the shape. It doesn't have to be intense in any way. It's finding something that allows you to release the full weight of your body into the floor. And taking your time to head over to the second side and tucking the right arm and crossing the right ankle. Maybe pausing in the middle, that moment of mindfulness to just recalibrate and notice for crossing the left ankle over the right. Maybe shimming the shoulders over to the right as well before bringing the left arm up. The same option to tuck the forearm under the back of the head there. And continuing to transition into that introspective, inward looking mindset, allowing your awareness of the internal conditions of the body to just be more and more refined as you drop in further. And keeping that inward looking lens as you transition into your shavasana. Maybe there's some prop setup involved. Maybe you're simply lying on your back and allowing the coming rest to simply be an extension of the work that you've done so far, setting up the conditions to really just be able to let go and be with yourself and your breath these next couple of minutes. If you have more time at your disposal and you'd like to continue resting, and simply tune me out and do just that. If it's time for you to move on with the rest of your day, and start to find a deeper breath and eventually some little wiggles in the fingers and the toes, maybe moving the jaw side to side or shifting the body against the floor, noticing the depth and the detail of sensation available even in this simple little movement. And go ahead and stretch yourself long. Reach the arms up and back behind you. Feel the connection and the length from head to toe. Take your time to bend your knees and roll over to one side. You'll come up to a seat in your own time. Again, just feeling your way into a position that allows you to settle. And feeling the heaviness of the lower body, the stacking of the spine, the softness of the shoulders. And bring your hands in front of your chest. Thank you for sharing your practice with me today. Namaste. Alrighty. Thanks so much for joining me today. I hope you're having a lovely day and week in general. If you're somewhere that celebrates Christmas, hopefully you've got a chill couple of days coming up with that as well. Thanks again for joining in. I'll be back the same time in 4 weeks from now. And this class is actually going to go up into the Yoga Medicine, the permanent library, probably like later today or tomorrow. And it's going to be called Permission to Explore. So if you want to check it out later, it should be up in a day or two. Thanks for being here. Thank you. Thanks for joining in. Hope you liked it. I'm always really curious to hear what worked for you and what didn't, what kinds of practices you want to have more of on Yoga Medicine online. So you can find me on social media at Yani Tarma on Instagram. And yeah, I'm always really curious to hear what you guys think and what you'd like more of. Thanks. Have a great day as well. And yeah, see you all soon. Bye.